Hi, my name is Clem. I'm going to talk to you about something really important. I'm going to talk about three very important words that we use in our day-to-day lives, and we don't even know about those words because they are words that are embedded in our daily lives. They are words that we find ourselves leaving them, but not really taking actual consideration about the words. And sometimes when these words are brought to our attention, we think that what they mean is really difficult. So I have called them the three magical words because they act like magic and they are there in our lives. The first words I'm going to talk about is called faith. This word faith is a really important word because faith is believing in something which is not as it is. Faith is being able to live our present moments with the future with the hope that the future is gonna hold something that is good for us. Let me put it this way. Perhaps you've seen a father who is playing with his baby, tossing the baby into the air and then catching the baby, tossing them back into the air and then catching the baby. The baby, what makes most of those babies not to freak out and die of shock from like the baby just looks at the ground and their father's hands are off them and they're just heading toward the ground where they're gonna just hit the ground, and that hurts. But you know what the babies do? Because they believe in their minds from the very first moment that they're tossed into the air and they come back and they're caught after gravity has pulled them down, they are caught by the father's hands that are well placed below them. Something happens in their mind. It triggers the faith. They believe in their minds that if my daddy tosses me in the air, he will catch me, and you'll see that the baby will smile. So that's like the very first stage of development of faith. It's not the very first stage because if a baby having come out of the mother's tummy and cries when it's hungry and the mother gives it the breast or gives it the bottle, it does that again because it now has faith in the mother that when I utter a sound, wah, mommy is gonna come and then she's gonna stick something in my mouth and then I'm gonna suck and then something's gonna come out into my tummy. I'll feel warm and I'll feel filled up. So this is what gives the babies faith. It gives them, so I don't know why we don't understand it. Because when we're now talking about faith to get out of the situations, when we're now talking about, brother, you need to use faith, practice faith for you to get out of this situation. You need to faith over it. You need to do this and that. It seems like it's some climbing Mount Everest without any climbing gear. It seems like, swimming up current, swimming up the Niagara Falls, and you don't have any superpowers at all. But the simple thing is that only a few human beings have realized the power that is in faith. Only very few people. Actually, we have it in our DNA. We have it in our minds. We are programmed into believing. Because look at this. When you wake up every morning, you open your eyes, right? And you look around the room. So the very first movement when you pivot in your head to see if you're going to see the window, if you're going to see whatever you see first, because every morning when I wake up, I look at the ceiling. I'm in the house because I can see the ceiling. I can see my fan. And then I look at my door and I look at my feet and I move my hands, just the getting up motion for me is I just move my hands and then hoist myself up and then sit up and then sometimes I flop back into bed. But I'm saying when the moment I open my eyes and look at the ceiling, see that I'm in the house and see the familiar environment around me, that I know I'm good. Then the second thing that I do is I hoist myself up. I just sum my guts up and then I hoist myself. And I'm up, I'm walking. I have the faith that I went to bed well and I'm going to just wake up. The things that we do. When somebody calls you, come here, you walk to them. Or you crawl to them if you're a baby, or you waddle to them, whatever you are, if you're a hippo. I'm not saying if you are big, but if you're a hippopotamus, but if you're a creepy crawly, you crawl to them. If you're a human being, you walk to them. So here's the thing. The moment you step, the very first foot that you put out first, walking towards in response to the person who has called you, You are exercising the faith that, you know what, I'm still able to walk because I believe I can still walk. Imagine if you were a person and then you're seated down in a chair and somebody calls me and say, Clem, come here. And then I stand up. Or before I stand up, I like, am I able to stand up or am I unable to stand up? You know what I'm saying? So it's really, really, really important that we know we have this faith in us. But just how I know that I'm able to stand up if somebody calls me and I can walk to them, I'm able to lift this when I want to. When my brain thinks about it, I'm not intimidated. Oh man, this keyboard is heavy. Am I gonna be able to lift it? But I'm not gonna try. I'm not gonna waste my time trying to lift this keyboard because it's heavy. What if it has just grown some roots and gotten stuck to the seat? What if it's an explosive? You know, these are the impediments that are in our minds when we are about to do something. But the very important thing is, I'm gonna talk about it later, that a human being is like a little god. He's able to do all these things. Imagine if Steve Jobs had not thought creatively and believed in what he was thinking, would we be having our apples? Would we have, not the apples in the garden, would we be having the Apple gadgets? No, we won't be having all these cool gadgets because Steve would have chickened out and said, you know what, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to be, Bill Gates and all of them and Henry Ford, the guys that made the cars, we won't be able to. But because they visioned something, and despite what was told to them, they still went straight and got their visions. So this is what I'm saying to you. Have faith and everything will be well. Whatever you think of, no matter how ridiculous it is, just go ahead and try it out, man. You never know. It's the next big thing. It's next fad. It's the next cool thing. But most times, a lot of people fall back because we don't believe in ourselves. I believe in me 100% because that's what my Creator wants me to. He wants me to believe in me. I'm able to do what I think of doing because it's inspiration. Life is art. If we take it to be art, then life shall be art. You know what I'm saying? So faith, we practice faith every time. Ever since we were kids, when your parents says, I'm gonna lift you up. Why didn't you say, no, Daddy, I don't think you're gonna do that. Mate, what if you drop me? It's because you are in disbelief that your dad can raise you up. And I believe as a Christian, when God says, I'm gonna give you a future, I'm gonna give you a hope, and then you see the circumstances around you are terrible, and you say, you know what, God, forget it. Don't give me that future, because the things that are surrounding me are just not pointing towards that. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. You got it. The faith is in you. You know that you got the power to lift this. You know that you get the power to stand and walk. You know that you get the power when you open your mouth and you breathe the words out of you. You are able to, the voice box is able to make sound. The larynx moves and the tongue shapes the word, being assisted by the teeth and then the lips. And when I focus on that camera, I can see it because I know it's something that's within me. So you just need to step up your faith. You just need to step up the belief a few notches up and you'll get there where you want to go. So just stop whining. Just stop doing that. You know what I'm saying? I'm out of here.